This video is sponsored by JLC PCB, and a while back I bought these two Spiderman Special Edition PS4 Pros off of eBay to try and fix, but unfortunately they didn't come with controllers, so I went back on eBay and I bought two broken Spider-Man controllers, and today I'm gonna try and fix them. It's been so long since I've bought these controllers, I don't even remember what's wrong, but I know at least one of them had a stick drift issue, and that seems to be this controller right here. You can see the left stick is drifting a whole bunch. It actually is more than drifting, it just kind of stuck over on that side. So that's obviously what's wrong with this one. I'm also gonna check all the other buttons while I'm testing it, but let's see what's wrong with the other one. Now for this controller, there's actually no drift going on. There's a little bit of movement on the sticks, but not really anything too serious. And I don't see any other problems with the buttons. I'm gonna open it up just to take a look inside and see if there's any other obvious problems. And I will clean those analog sticks while I'm in there, just so then they're nice and clean. And then once I'm done, I'll retest it. I also found another problem with this first one. Let's take a look. So this shows the problem pretty well. You can see these screws are just totally stripped out. It's even missing a screw, but unfortunately these are gonna be a pain to get into. I might have to end up drilling them out, but I got a few things to try first. So this one's gonna be a little more difficult of a repair. We gotta get all these screws out and then fix the analog stick drift issue. So I'm gonna start with the first one and get that one all done. That one shouldn't take too long. So I'll get that one done first, then we'll move on to this hard one. So these controllers actually go for a lot of money on eBay, anywhere from $100, sometimes $150 or more dollars, just depending on when you buy it. So these are actually quite valuable. And when you're trying to sell the PS4 Pro Spider-Man Edition, if you have the matching controllers, those consoles go for a lot more money. So I'm looking forward to getting these fixed, so then I'll have two complete sets. And the back cover looks really good. I see no problems here. And I also see no problems here at all. This looks really nice inside. I do still want to get down to those analog sticks though and give them a good cleaning. And this controller actually looks basically brand new inside. There's not any gunk, there's not even any dust in here, so this is gonna be a really nice one when I'm done. And same with this all looks really clean. Let's take the thumbstick caps off. So in order to clean these, I'm going to be using some BW100. I'm gonna spray that down inside here and also spray it down inside these potentiometers and hopefully get those all nice and clean. And after that's done, we'll get it all back together and test it. All right, so now we're just gonna let these dry, then we'll get it put back together, then we can give it a test. Now anytime I need to get into these little cracks and stuff when I'm cleaning, just use a toothbrush soaked in some IPA. Isopropyl alcohol, and you can just really get right in those little cracks. So this really cleans up all the little cracks really well. And there we go. That is a really nice looking controller. It looks basically brand new. You can tell it's used, it's got a little bit of wear on it, but it looks really, really good. Now that that's all done, let's hook it back up and test it again. Okay, and after cleaning, there's very, very little movement on these analog sticks. It's almost completely still, right in the middle. Even after I use the analog sticks, they just go right back to the middle. So this one is definitely in better condition than when I started. And as you saw, the condition is basically brand new. So now we have one controller for one of these Spider-Man Special Edition PS4 Pros. Now it's time to take a look at the controller that's going to be a little bit harder to fix. Before we get to that controller, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, JLC PCB. JLC PCB is one of the best places to get your custom PCBs manufactured because not only do they care about quality, they also know that shipping time is very important. They can produce your custom PCBs fast and accurately and also get them to you quickly. And best of all, you can order quickly and easily right on their website at jlcpcb.com. They care so much about getting your order out quickly that they're not even going to stop for the Chinese New Year. And once they're done manufacturing your PCB, it only takes 3 to 4 days to get to America and 4 to 5 days to get to Europe. JLC PCB loves supporting students and makers with all of their electronics projects, so if you need to get a custom PCB manufactured accurately and quickly, go to jlcpcb.com. I'll put a link down in the description so you can just click on that and it'll take you right there. Now it's time to take a look at this second controller, see if we can get these screws out and fix that analog stick problem. Here you can clearly see that these screws have just been totally stripped out. Somebody likely used a bit that was not the right size, or they didn't put enough pressure on it or something like that, and just totally ruin the screws. So unfortunately, we can't use the type of bit that the screw is made for. So the first thing I'm gonna try is just using a bit that will fit in there as best I can and try and get it to catch on something just enough to get the screw to come out. You can use any type of bit that seems to fit in there and just seems to catch on any piece of metal sticking out or just any way that you can get a grip on the screw. If this doesn't work, the next thing I would do is get some sort of rotary tool and probably just drill out the screw. Another thing you can do is cut on each side to make a slot and then fit a slotted screwdriver in there and turn the screw out. But I'm gonna try just using this regular screwdriver, this regular flathead, and see if I can get it to catch on something inside there and get that screw to turn out. Now, one of the keys to this, no matter what you do, is to put a lot of pressure on the screw, just so then if it catches on something, it's more likely to stay caught on it and actually turn the screw out. So you can see, actually the screw is turning just a little bit. So I'm just gonna keep going slow. There we go, gotta keep a lot of pressure on it. Okay, good. You can see even this bit is slipping inside there. So we just got to keep the pressure on it while it's turning out. Okay, and there we go. We've got one. Let's try the same trick on this screw. I am supporting it with my hand down here, just so then I can get a lot of pressure put on this screw. Okay, and we are getting it to turn a little bit. That's great news. But can we get the third one out? That would be amazing. I don't mind doing the rotary tool, but there's a lot more chance of damage and it just takes so much longer to do that. Okay, and there we go. So this is the offending analog stick, the one on the left, and since it has a problem when it's going left, this is the potentiometer we're gonna take a look at. So I'm gonna remove this potentiometer and then we can take a look on the inside. So in order to remove that potentiometer, we need to get all the solder off of these 3 pins right here. Then we can pry that potentiometer loose, pull it up and out, and then if we need to replace it, we can just slip a new one in, solder these pins on, and then we're good to go. So here we have that potentiometer that we removed. Let's take a look at the inside of it and see if we can see what exactly is going on inside. So to get it to release, I'm gonna move those pins in, and there we go. Now I can flip it over. So here you can see this contact, and these 2 contacts ride on the inside of the potentiometer along these little black traces. And depending on the location of all these contacts against these black traces, that's how the controller determines where you want to move the character in your game. Now you can see these little traces over here, these little marks right here, and the same over here and over here. most of the time these contacts either wear out, especially on the inside here. This is kind of like a carbon substance that can wear out over time, or sometimes these contacts just stop making good contact. In this case, it's actually pretty hard to tell what's going on. There definitely is a lot of marking over here, so I'm guessing maybe just the contact over here is not working correctly, maybe not making a good contact, or has just worn this trace out. Really hard to tell. So what I'm gonna do is grab another one of these potentiometers, then we'll install it into the controller, then we'll test it again and see if that fixes it. Now we have the new potentiometer. We need to slip it into these holes, push it down. Make sure it's lined up with the little pin on the analog stick. And we can push it in. Okay, and that looks good there. Now we just need to resolder these 3 pins and then we'll be ready to test it. Okay, and those solder joints look really good. So now it's time to reassemble and test. Now we obviously don't want to reuse those same screws that were all stripped out. So I've got 4 new screws and we'll install these new screws. So then it'll look great. And if we ever need to get inside this again, there'll be nice clean screws in it. There we go. That's what the screws are supposed to look like. So as you can see, the left stick is working normally now. Let's check the right stick and the left stick. That's exactly what it should look like. So now I've got the 2 Spider-Man DualShock 4s to go with the 2 Spider-Man PS4 Pros. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to JLC PCB for sponsoring this video, and I hope you have a good one.